Hello guys. Next shot here. I found that the PTR notes are apparently now changed into actual notes for an update this 10th of August. The new balance patch is apparently going live. I would think that they'd make a version 2 after doing like all the numbers and whatever, and looking at footage, you know. But the test server shut down on Saturday. It's now Wednesday, and apparently they're already getting the balance patch in Korea. Now there are some changes planned. We will be going over them. I'm not gonna go over anything else, just the balance patch in general. I can also tell you that there are changes. So we're gonna go over, I want to go over Destroyer because I am a Destroyer main and secondary, because I have both Rage Hammer and Gravity Training. So as predicted yesterday on my stream, I was already talking about it. The PTR nodes were way too strong. And as I said yesterday, I think because you were getting your gravity mode way too quick, I predicted that they would change, like lower the numbers of the gravity gauge gain tripods to about 10 to 15%. And that's actually what happened now. So just going over the changes for Destroyer first, because I'm a main Destroyer. Earthwave, nothing's changed here compared to the PTR nodes. So we're still getting Earthwave instead of one-man army. Nothing in particular they've changed about it, or at least they've not said anything about it. As far as Perfect Swing, the uncontrollable tripod is still from 2 to 1. You'll be seeing the live notes on screen. On my other screen, I will be having the first PTR notes so we can compare. The finishing blow tripod. So they changed it where you deal more damage to like enemies with less health. They changed that to you gain extra gravity gauge per core possessed. Now on the PTR notes, it went from 14, and if you had like level 5, it was 21%. They've adjusted it like for most skills across the board to from 9 to 13%. So that's a bit of a change. But as I said before, we were getting on PTR, from what I saw from Korean players, we were getting into gravity gauge mode way too quick. So yeah, that had to be adjusted. As for the time of slaughter, or time to slaughter tripod, nothing's changed here compared to the PTR notes. Still, this just all these numbers and whatever it does is just the same. On to Seismic Hammer. Seismic Hammer, we were getting the damage increase again, tripod. So you, on your first line, you'll have the, I believe, the cooldown reduction. You'll have the tenacity, where you are, like, you can't be knocked back and stuff. And then the other tripod was the damage reduction. You received less damage during the casting. They've changed that to a damage to enemies increase again, and that's staying the same. So that's a buff for both Rage Hammer and Gravity Training. If we look down then, they changed another tripod where you dealt damage to low-ranking monsters. They changed that to gaining gravity gauge. On the PTR nodes, like the first ones, it was 16 to 24%. They've changed it to 10 to 15%. So as I said before, I predicted it yesterday, we will be getting like they'll be downscaling it to 10 to 15%, which is completely in the normal regions of how it should be. Going on to Earth Eater, basically the same, right? So they've changed. They did the ignore tripod, which never got used, to a gravity gaining tripod, and that as well has been adjusted to the according numbers. If we skip to Neutralizer, basically the same. You had one that ignored defense. They changed it to a gravity gauge tripod, and that as well has been adjusted. Full swing, same thing, 10 to 15%. Gravity compression, nothing has changed here compared to PTR. These numbers have all been the same. I'm wondering if this will, because it's kind of a buff. We'll have to see if this becomes anything usable now in on live service. Jumping down, the Terra Break Awakening, nothing has been changed compared to the PTR notes. Going to the Gravity Gauge Identity. Now here there are some changes. So the Gravity Gauge you acquired according to the number of gravity cores. They changed that on PTR from 6 to 10%. So you gain more gravity gauge per core, like just from basic skills, like without using any tripods. They changed that from 6 to 10% on PTR, and they've adjusted it a bit down to 8% per core. So a small little like tune down, but as expected. To the weighted zone, when you hit enemies, decreasing the defense, nothing has changed here. Moving on to the engravings. So when you use your liberation skill, gain an additional 70% of your gauge. That's the same. Everything's basically stayed the same here. All the numbers, even the change in the if you hit them 3 times with the bonk skill, that you did an additional attack, that's still in. They've not said anything about the damage that skill, like the 3rd hit would do, the little lightning thing. But from what we saw on PTR, it's doing about 30% of what your normal bonk damage would be. So let's say your bonk does 3 million damage, it will now, the 3rd like little extra attack will do about 1 million. So yeah, these nodes all the same. They want to adjust the gravity training build so that it would become more in line with meta builds and be actually usable. This is what they've added. So however, in certain situations, the frequency of activation of the gravity weighted mode becomes excessively frequent and the performance exceeds the intended range. So that was what I predicted yesterday. You were basically going into gravity training mode, and as soon as you jumped out of the gravity training mode, it took you maybe 10 seconds to get back into it. So yeah, that was a bit too excessive. So that's it for Destroyer, which I want to hit first. We'll jump to the top again, where we will check out Berserker. Now, I've not read the Berserker or any other notes. I just checked the Destroyer ones for any changes. So we'll see whatever has been adjusted for all the other classes. So from what I can see here, Berserker, nothing's changed compared to the first PTR notes. So we are still getting the Berserker's technique buff. Moving on to Warlord. Again, nothing has changed compared to the original PTR notes. It's still the attack range hasn't been increased for Bash, and that's basically it. Skipping Destroyer because we already did that. We'll move to Infighter. Infighter, nothing's changed here. They nerfed the shock skills by 3.7% in PvE. I think this is a bit of a boo-boo because it says Soul Master, but it's Machinist. No clue what's going on here. But let's see. Yeah, nothing's changed for Machinist slash Scouter, whatever you want to call it. Moving on to the Glavier. Again, no changes compared to PTR. Blaster, there's a lot of Blaster changes compared to PTR. I am not going to go over them because I know nothing about an artillerist slash blaster. There are some notes here from the developers about what they've done to modify stuff compared to PTR. So I'll just read this. However, in the process of separating the battle concept for each job engraving, the damage ratio of the bombardment enhanced blaster is too concentrated on the bombardment skills. So the satisfaction with using the general skill is lowered, and the play sensibility of using the bombardment mode more often is also judged not to be good. Accordingly, we made additional adjustments to increase the utility of general skills, again by restoring the firepower buff strengthening effect according to the specialized stats and the damage factor of the shelling skill, and to improve the supply and demand structure of the shelling gauge that was concentrated on some skills. On the other hand, in the case of the firepower enhancement blaster, which showed excessive performance than we intended, we adjusted the damage reduction effect to be applied differently depending on the job engraving level, only when not in the bombardment mode, by lowering the damage of general skills a little. So this to me seems like they've done again like a huge adjustment to how stuff works. As again, I know nothing about Ultras. Don't play one, don't touch one. But that seems to be pretty okay. They keep adjusting it to so that it's really satisfying to play either. Because from what I know now is that you can choose between the two engravings. It's not meta to take both of them. So yeah, that'll be a fun thing to see. Okay, so this is Scouter now. So apparently the Machinist is the Soul Fist. So Scouter, nothing's changed here. Let's see. From what I can see, not much has changed to Gunslinger. So no, we'll be getting Gunslinger in the same form as on PTR. Summoner, well, we don't have Summoner here in the West yet. So it seems that Summoner still stands. The Summoner changes still stand. That's amazing, because from what I saw on PTR, it's completely bonkers right now. So yeah, that's really great. It seems Summoner will become a meta class right now. Amazing. Let's see. Backflush. Backflush, isn't that one of the new skills they got? Yeah, it is. So compared to the backflush on... So Infinity Shower is gone. They replaced it with backflush. Compared to PTR, they changed the attack range forward 2 meters. The timing of switching between other skills and those skills has been modified more quickly. So they did some modification to the new skill already to bring it in line with what they expect, I guess. Destiny's Call, there's a bit of a change here from what I can see. It seems that these numbers here are different, where on PTR they were 20, 25, up to 40. They've now adjusted it to go all the way to 45%. That all stands. Let's see, unlimited shuffle. That sees no change compared to PTR. Mysterious Rush, no change. Dark Resurrection, no change. Yeah, no change. What else do we have? Evoke, 1 second, 3 seconds, 20%. Yeah, it stays all the same. So it seems most of the Arcana changes stand as well compared to PTR. So yeah, they did make a little side note here after the PTR note. So in addition, after the test, the numerical values and effects of some identity cards were further adjusted, and the attack range and usability of the new skill Backflush were adjusted to enable smoother skill operation. Okay. So compared to PTR, there were no Aeromancer changes, and they have done some changes now. But from what I can see, it's kind of a mix of between like buffs and a bit of nerfs. So Meteorologist is assigned as a class that helps the survivability of allies by generating an aura during identity activation. However, due to the damage reduction effect that does not overlap with other skills and the limited scope of application, it is judged that it is difficult to operate the identity. It has been improved to be possible. In addition, the usability and effect of some skills has been improved to enable smoother party skill operation. Excessive performance of the shower skill in PvP and the use cycle were unreasonable. Okay. So yeah, it's they've adjusted all of that now. Let's see what stands from all the rest. What is this skill tripod effect? So they have made a change to Paladin. But you don't need to hit the perfect zone anymore. Nice. So yeah, let's see here. That's no changes. So the appearance of the demonized Shadowhunter stuff is still the same. So if you get grabbed now, you don't lose demonic state, or for the scouter, your hypersync state. This is some quality of life stuff. Just some text changes. They've added like little icons to the battle items. Let's see, destroy a perfect swing, gravity compression, vortex. The Terra Break has gotten a change. Okay. All the rest seems the same to me. So yeah, most of it stands, really. The rest is stuff that's not concerning to us. Yep. So that's basically it. Most of the changes from PTR stay alive, even for Destroyer. Even if it's in a 2-down state, it's gonna be hella improvement compared to what it is now. So that's basically it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching the video. Check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/nackshot, and I'll catch you guys the next time.